This is such a soul-sucking story that I need to sit down on the ledge here to start this out. This is a story from my junior year in high school. I was 16, and it's been a long, long time since this happened, so if I forget some of the details, you'll have to forgive me a little bit. Some of you guys are my posse over there, Luke Stromberg, Russell, great story, thank you, Luke. Dan DePriel, they all know me as a suave and urbane college professor, and I wasn't always suave and urbane. I was really, at the age of 16, I was an altar boy, to be honest. Not like an altar boy, I really was an altar boy. And my dad wanted me to have a vacation in the church, and you know, I was the oldest of 11 kids, and he thought that would be a pretty good idea. And so I had never at the age of 16 kissed a girl. So this is kind of the story about my first kiss. And I'm not counting the kiss I had with Sally Galante with Spin the Bottle when I got slapped upside the head because I tried to go to second base with her on Spin the Bottle. You're not supposed to do that with Spin the Bottle, you know, those are the rules, but I didn't know the rules. So this is how naive I was at the age of 16. I was going to an all-boys school, LaSalle College High School, and so I wasn't around girls very much, and I knew I had a junior prom coming up, so in October, I asked a girl out from my junior high school, which was a public high school, in October. Now the prom was in May, and she gladly accepted, and I thought, oh great, you know, I thought in my back pocket, I have a date for my junior prom, but then naively I didn't follow up and ask her out to a movie or something. I just assumed that I'd have a date in May. So around April, I called her up and say, hey Jane, remember I called you up in October and we were going to go to the prom? And she said, Chuck, I'm so sorry, I have a boyfriend now. I was crushed. You know, I really liked her. So now I had no date, and all my friends, you know, they were also nerds like me. I was the only ultra boy nerd, but they were nerds like me, and they all had dates, and they were encouraging me to get a last minute date, and I didn't know anybody. How the hell am I going to get a date? So I explained this to my mom, and she said, oh, you know what? Pam McKay might go out with you. And Pam McKay was this girl from my church that, I'm not kidding you, looked like Jacqueline Bouvier at the age of 16. Jacqueline Bouvier, for those of you who don't know, married John Kennedy. And why would she like me? Oh, Mrs. McKay told me when we sent the family Christmas card around that, you know, she thought you were cute. So I thought, okay, I'll ask her out. So there was a school play literally a week before the junior prom, The Sound of Music, and I asked Pam if she would go, and she said, yeah, I'd love to go to The Sound of Music. So I took her to The Sound of Music. And on the way home, I dropped the fact that I needed a prom date. I know it's kind of late, but would you mind? This was actually 2 weeks after the Sound of Music, and she said, sure, I'll go. So I had my date, and I thought, wow, this is going to work out pretty good. So I get my powder blue prom outfit with the little white carnation. And almost everyone else at the prom was wearing either white or black, but I was wearing powder blue. But I had Pam McKay on my arm, and she really did look like Jacqueline Kennedy. So my friends were like stunned, like, how did you get this date? And what the heck happened? And one of the brothers came over and said to us, my group of 5 guys, hey, do any of you want to put your dates in for the prom queen contest? And I thought, yeah, sure, why not? That sounds like a good idea. I turned to Pam, do you want to be in this? And she said, oh yeah, I'll do that. So I put my name in the hat, and she, after about, 15 or 20 minutes, they started the prom festivities, and people were dancing. Now, I had never even slow danced with a girl. So this was going to be my night of nights, where not only was I going to slow dance with a girl, I was probably going to kiss a girl maybe by the end of the night. All my friends started dancing with their dates, and I was just about ready to ask Pam out onto the floor for our first spin. And one of the brothers comes over and taps me on the shoulder and said, "Chuck, we need to talk to your date. She's one of the girls that's been picked for the prom court." So I thought, okay. So they take Pam over, and five or six other girls go over, and they're in this room with the brothers for about, I don't know, it seemed to me like a long time. 15, 30 minutes, I don't know how long it was, but it seemed like a long time. So I'm just hanging around waiting to get my first dance with my date, and they come back and they decide, by now the prom is literally half over, they decide they're going to announce the court of the prom king and his queen. And so I was asked to come up with my date and four other fellas and their dates, and they go through the whole line of people who are on the prom court, and Billy Joe Tolliver and his date Sally Hopkins are introduced as the fourth runner-up, and then Jim Sullivan and his date are announced, and we get down to, like, you know, me and Pam and this one other couple, and they don't call my name or her name. And I'm thinking, holy cats, my date is the prom queen. That's unbelievable. And then the lights come on, and I'm asked to come and dance with my date. I've never danced with her. Everyone else in the whole room has danced with their dates. I've never even had a slow dance, and the Klieg lights are on me now, you know, and I'm woodenly kind of holding her while "Ooh Baby Baby" by the Smokey Robinson and the Miracles are playing, and they bring the dance ends, and they bring a dozen roses over in a little silver compact, and I thought, wow, I'm in heaven. This is the greatest moment of my life, and this is actually probably the greatest moment of Pam's life. So, I think I'm going to get another shot at dancing with her, and there's another slow dance, and some guy comes over my shoulder and taps me on the shoulder, and he says, "I'm sorry, do you mind if I dance with your date?" And this happened the rest of the prom. Everyone was coming up and dancing with my prom date. I had one date with her. So at the end of the night, me and my nerdy friend, the whole rest of the junior class of LaSalle College High School went to the post-prom party, and me and my friends went to Roxborough for our own little gathering of just five guys and their dates with a record player and spinning records. And Art Warren, who had his parents hosted this, they had this huge plate of hors d'oeuvres and sandwiches out for us. It would have felt a platoon of 20 hungry soldiers, but it was just us. So at this point, you know, today, my date probably would have opened a flip phone and called one of her pals and said, "Hey, would you come rescue me? This is an awful date. You got to get me out of here. I want to go to the post-prom party," but she put up with it. So we go through the whole night. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking to myself, I'm finally probably going to get a kiss with my date. And I'm driving her home. She puts the roses between us and the compact between us. And I finally get her home at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm rolling up to the front door, ready for my first kiss, and she opens the door while the car is still rolling and says, "Thanks, Chuck, I had a really good time," and that was the end of my trip. So my first kiss was Rita Galanti at Spin the Bottle. So.